and welcome. Today we're going to talk about, our plan is to talk about Jim Parsons and a little bit of congruency and incongruencies and the other things that Shan was discussing in the videos, like love language and whatever catches our fancy. So,
yeah.
First, let's start with Jim Parsons. Anybody have anything they want to say about Jim Parsons?
I liked him. Yeah, I did too. Go ahead, Sasha. Okay. I thought he was SF. I feel like I have the hardest time typing other INTPs. I think it's because a lot of the time, and especially he kept saying, "Oh, I don't know anything about that. That's too hard. I don't know anything about that."
Sleep.
know.
Sleep.
Maybe. Yeah.
Stop.
But he's being honest. I guess maybe also it's because, he's speaking TI, so I kind of like I miss it. It just sounds normal. So I'll notice his SI, especially since it's stronger than ours, so maybe that I was really focused in by it. But I did at one point catch his fear for his IP, fear for the tribe, dismissing him because of his sexuality, and I thought that sounds like a very IP version of that, and I should have gone with his being an INTP almost because of that, because but I typed him upside down, so. No, but I really liked him. They did not say what his social was, but he seemed like a 4, maybe a 3. But I think he seemed more like a 4. He seemed very friendly. So
yeah, there was that one moment where he and Jimmy Fallon, because okay, I've only seen videos of him from the typing class. He and Jimmy Fallon were competing in the game, right? And 4s, we get more weird about compete. Yeah, he was like, ah! Like he couldn't handle the like. That felt like demon flex, right? Like I can't handle the like right. I don't know. That's
funny.
That was a big moment where I was like, I feel like that's kind of a 4 moment, but yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have flex. He did that. He kept saying, "I don't know about that. I have no, that." He had demon flex.
Yeah,
that's right. So it kind of went against his IP-nis.
Yeah.
Penis. Sorry, one of us had to say it. Wait, what? Wait, I missed it. Sasha's like, what? Wait, nothing. Missing information.
Oh, sorry.
This is so fucked to a decider too. I'm sorry for screaming the F word, Magda. I know you're being quiet right now.
Magda, did you have any?
Because I didn't get it too.
Oh.
INTP-nis. No? All right.
What? Yeah, what word does it sound like, ladies? Yeah, it's just...
Oh my gosh! I can't believe it took me that long! That's incredible.
Usually I'm the one that walks into so word traps, so yeah.
Really childish. No, I love it! Really childish, my fault. It's like, maybe it's a 2 thing. It's buddy time. INTP-nis. Okay. We're gonna have like a bleep. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I'm sorry. We just skipped.
Oh no, it's good. No,
my fault, always.
Magda, what do you have anything you'd like to say about Jim Parsons?
Well, he reminded me one of my colleagues from work, like very much, and I had a hard bias what Jim Parsons may be. So I was sure about animal stock, but and it was obvious actually because I know the guy from my work that he's sleep savior, although we had a hint that said that he's sleep savior. So that was one of the, let's say, hard parts to see. And maybe in Jim Parsons that would be a hard thing to see, but because he reminds me so much, that colleague from my work, And I was so sure I got the animal stuck, but I actually couldn't say about Jim Parsons anything else, like DI, OE, but what exactly? So I didn't really remember what I got, what type I got for my colleague. It could be INTP, but I just don't remember because we don't work in the office together, because we work remotely mostly. So like, okay, so I didn't remember what I got.
Whoopsies, lost you.
I can't hear you.
Yeah.
What was the last thing you said?
Now it's okay.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
That I didn't remember what I got from my colleague. Do you hear me?
Yes, we do. It's kind of weird, right? It's like INTPs are
Okay.
everywhere. Like, how many INTPs are actually in my life, and I'm just not aware that they're INTPs.
Yeah.
I always tend to like them because I feel like the way it's easy to talk to you guys, and I feel like it's like it happens with me for, I feel like all TP types, like maybe I wouldn't have realized or whatever, but like that they are that beforehand, but it's never a surprise when I find out they are. I thought it's very decider and very maybe number 2-ish that I immediately for Jim Parsons was like, this would be my friend, because like I thought he wasn't a number 4 in the way that he's sort of like, I like noticed his like to himselfness kind of, which I recognized in an INTP, at least in mine, of like, I know they say we are extroverted as the consume, play, blast INTPs, but like I do this where like my TI world is mine. And like when he was like, for example, with Chelsea Handler, he was like, yeah, I usually don't like kids, ew. Like he was like that type of like, like, no, like that attitude, like I feel like I love that in other INTPs, and I can see it too. Like it's sort of like, I'll just be over here in this room doing my own thing, like, because the tribe doesn't really need to move me, like, especially as he's also double feminine. So I don't know if it's a double feminine INTP thing that I recognize and really appreciate, because I'm always like, you know, how about none of that? Like I saw that in him and I really like appreciated it. And I didn't type him, but I could see that, like after watching, it's like a comfort for me of like, oh, another normal person type of thing.
Yeah, normal
Mm-hmm.
To me, yeah, to my brain functions, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think his not wanting kids could point away from his 4-ness? Because I love kids.
Maybe. I don't know what it was about that. Like it's his yeah, like maybe that could be of like I don't really want to bother with all this strategy type of thing.
Yeah.
That is interesting though. I'm not a huge kid person. I love animals, but like I've never wanted like a bunch of kids personally.
Yeah.
And I've always been like kind of like weird around kid, like kind of just, I don't want to babysit, you know, type of thing. Melanie, how do you feel about babysitting or kids, and just not you know, people in your family? You know, obviously you love, you know, or you know, you're not talking about like individuals, but just the general notion of kids, I guess.
I like-ish them. Like I'm obviously like all my nieces, love all my nieces and nephews, so it's such a like, I guess I like them. No, I do. Like I think it's whatever, any forced emotion, all of my friends know this, and I like always almost feel bad because of the double activated FE, but I'm just like, don't like force me to think your kids are cute. Like if I could really think they're cute, but like if you're forcing me to think they're cute, like I'm just like, I don't need to tell you anything. Like it's kind of like a hard ass thing, but like
that's how I feel about newborns, because like newborns aren't cute. And right, a lot of my friends are having kids right now, and they're like, look how smart my 2-month-old is, and I'm like, oh, they're the smartest 2-month-old. They open their eyes. I do. Like even when my son was a newborn, it was like I loved him, but it was just like, it's an external fetus right now. You know, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's now outside the body, but still highly in need of physical, like, can't take care of itself. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, like, it's just like, I don't know, they're not super special or whatever, like, whatever. I like kids just fine. I like I do. It's always the doubling down on, like, no, I don't like them if somebody's forcing me to like them. So it's just very demon F-y.
I don't like it when somebody forces me to be responsible for them. Like, oh, I need you to babysit. I need you to be, like, I never wanted to be a school teacher because all of these people who are under the age of 18, I'm somehow responsible for. If that freaks me out. Of course, that could be demon responsibility a little bit in there too.
Are you better with high schoolers? Because, like, high school is where I start to not, like, I love kids from the age of, like, 2 to, like, puberty. And then it's, like, and then they're, like, I don't know, it feels like I'm a kid that's, like, not got, I don't know. I'm like, I just go and I play with them. People are like, how are you so good with them? And I'm like, I'm just myself around them. Yeah, and sometimes tell them what to do. But, like, then whenever they, like, go through puberty, it's a little different. Like, I had to teach undergrads for a while, and I got better, but it's like I had to, like, learn methods. I had to start giving extra credit, and then they were fine, honestly, that was, but but I never was like, yay, I'm gonna go in and teach my undergrads today.
Interesting. So so college level.
Yeah, I did. I should say, like, I did love whenever people, like, whenever some of them had a passion, like, a lot of them, that was the thing, because I was teaching chemistry. They wanted, like, all of them had plans to go to medical school, and they all just wanted A's and would cry if they got B's, and I don't know, and like, they were trying to learn to be adults, and I guess I kind of eventually came to be able to help them with that. But I mean, it's a hard time in their life, and they're just highly demanding on you in a different way. I love the
Interesting.
I love the purity of kids. I feel like they're just being themselves, you know?
Right, yeah.
Like, today my kid was just, like, making noises. He was going, oh, like, with a cup, and I was just like, that is adorable, and I just love that you're just doing that, and you have no shame, no conception of, like, what that means or anything. You're just doing it.
Magda.
Yeah, I'm waiting until my kid will be more adult, so I will have this meaningful conversation I'm waiting for. And right now, I just don't know how to behave when my kid is goofing around. Like, I know it's kid stuff and I love it, but I don't know how to engage. So I'm just near and smiling a lot, but that's it. I cannot engage. Like, I cannot be goofy. Like, I don't know how to start even. So I don't bother, actually. So I remember that Dave said some time ago that he's waiting as well when Cody will be old enough that they will engage then. So he's not having this shame anymore that he don't know how to play with his kid. I have the same shame that I don't know what to do. Like, I hear in my head that mother shouldn't have problems to engage with her own kid, right? But I don't know what to do. So now I just know that my time will come, and then I will be like, my skill will be more useful in the future. So when she will be more adult, so I
understand. It depends on the person, though. I'm gonna say something kind of crappy. I'm sorry. I think, like, I hope you kind of keep your expectations a little bit low for whatever types of meaningful conversations you hope to have, because that person is still going to be like an individual person. And I guess like the reason I say this is because I kind of keep expecting to have that meaningful conversation with my son. And he's getting older, but he just has a completely different brain than I do, and he doesn't really want to have conversations like that. Do you know what I mean? So and of course, he's only 17, and I think that I'm putting way too much pressure on him I've always wanted to have, like, with everybody, that type of conversation. You may be able to have that. And I think with some people who are younger, though, too, they like to have conversations like that. I like to have conversations like that when I was 13 years old. So yeah, you never know what they're going to be like. I guess. But
yeah, and
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and my goal is to have meaningful conversation for the sake of the meaningful conversation. So I'm not waiting for to have older person to have those conversations, but to lead her, to blast her how to survive in this world, what can happen, and if she won't listen to me, she will crash, and she needs to know that I will wait for her. So my goal is different. I'm waiting for an adult, let's say, brain that I can reach, and I will try to help her to go through life, but in open way, because I don't like to be told what I have to do, because I will do opposite. So that's my flaw, right?
No way.
So
that's great.
Yeah, so she needs to do her own way, and because I need to do it my own way. But still, I would like to have a guidance, a leader that I can look at, but not exactly to be told what to do. So I want to be that leader for my kid, because at the end, like, my ultimate goal is to raise the kid that will not abandon me and will love me, even though she will be out. So when at my deathbed, she would like to be by her own choice, to be with me and say goodbye to me. So that's my goal. I want to be with her right now and like shape her mindset the way that she will love me at the end, that I am the how to say it, like the parent that will try the best but will fail a lot, but still everyone has may do mistakes, the parent and the kid, and that's okay. And this is something I'm learning from her right now as a mother who is not perfect. I yelled at her. I was not perfect, basically. And she always forgave me. And it makes me emotional, to be honest. So I'm learning from her right now. And I know, I try to use my brain, let's say, that how can I use that knowledge I have right now to meet my goal, my ultimate goal, to have this meaningful end of my life, let's say. So I want the tribe to love me. So this is my FELAS. I want the tribe to love me, and I want to have as many kids as I can. I have only one. I hope I will have more, but we'll see. And I want to raise them the way that they will love me at the end. So that's my ultimate goal. Yeah,
it's interesting that
meaningful conversation will come with older brain. That's the point. That's the point.
It's interesting that us.
Yeah, right now I'm not useful.
Sorry.
No, that's so useful. It's so interesting. I never think about this because I don't have any kids. So it's really interesting to hear that.
And it's interesting that it's the single social deciders, right? The ones with Flex and friends on the poll. We're both the ones having kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we are fixated on the people like too much, a little bit too much. Yeah, we stress. Yeah. So when I have a kid, it needs to be like a serious thing, you know. I cannot have just kids, you know. It needs to be like
my project. It's happening.
Have you read?
Yeah.
Have you read the Broken Earth trilogy, Magda?
I'm not sure. It may call in Polish a different name.
Okay, it's a pretty big fantasy series. Do you guys know it, Melanie and Sasha, the Broken Earth trilogy?
Science fiction or fantasy?
She got the idea from a NASA conference where they brought in a whole bunch of writers. But it's not science fiction. It's not predicting the future, but it's fantasy and the whole world is really interestingly built. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the stories. There were some things that, but this is actually what I wanted to bring up. But the world building, I cannot, like, it was crazy. Probably double observer there, or I don't know. Maybe that was the focus of the single observer. It's based on science, but it's a fantasy world. That's I don't want to ruin it because figuring that out as you go is kind of part of like the fun of the series. So
who's the author? Do you know?
I'm forgetting her name.
It's okay.
Right now.
I almost
Jemisin. Jemisin.
Total stage name or whatever it's called. Page name or whatever.
Yeah.
It can't be a
pen name.
Is it a fake
pen
name? Pen name.
I don't know.
Okay.
It just sounds so magical.
It is a nice name. Yeah, I don't know enough about her to know whether it's fake, but what I wanted to say though was she feels like she might be lead Flex because in that story too she has her daughter, and just the way you described raising your daughter really reminded me of the mindset of the mom in this book. So maybe that would be interesting for you.
Yeah.
It was cool to see that because it was just such a different like, I don't know, it's cool, different but similar. Like there are things I definitely get. I put a lot of pressure on myself too, but it's like your goals and everything.
Yeah, like actively defined goals.
Yeah, it's so serious, like the goal, like like it's real. Like I have to have a goal.
Yeah.
Like without a goal, I'm like naked.
Yeah.
So much respect for that, TI. Love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was really cool.
In comparison, Julie, and you don't, I mean, however much you feel comfortable saying, can you compare if you have goals for your kids?
Well, so it's interesting. I mean, I don't picture like a deathbed scene, and I know we talked about that before, so I've been thinking about that a lot. Like, I definitely hope that my kids will visit me, but for me the vision is more like that I'll have these people that I'll get to keep up with, and quality time is my big thing, so we can move into that. Like, definitely quality time. Like, I want to be visited by them, but like being masculine TI, I also want them to be individuals. It's part of, it's like, I kind of, my imagination for it is like, I want to have multiple kids. You know, my second kid is due in August, so that's like, we're working towards that. But it's like, I know they'll have different personalities, so it's like, you know, if some are more independent than others, that's fine. But like, I just love the idea of being able to raise them and then watch who they go become in the world. And I hope that I can keep my like house interesting enough that they'll want to like come back and visit sometimes. or like that I'll have things here that they'll want to like. I don't know. Like my dad always had these little like ninjas for us to ride around on, and it was like, so we always like these little tiny motorcycles that are like literally, yeah.
But you have like cool plants and stuff, so I feel like that's cool to like come back and visit the desert oasis. I don't know. That's just my mind.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, and like I said too, it's, but I mean, say I have a whole bunch of twos or something, and they're all like very independent and want to go all be whoever they are elsewhere, you know, that like I'm preparing myself. I'm already thinking about like how being an empty nester is probably going to be very difficult for me, because like I already find my family is such an anchor, but I definitely don't want to be one of those parents that like, you know, doesn't let their kids like go be themselves. Like I definitely want to help push my kids off to being themselves. But yeah, my vision, I guess, is like very quality time, and I feel like your vision is words of affirmation in a way. It's like you want them to be there and show you that you're cherished. And mine's like, I want them to hang out with me on a yearly basis. But yeah, so similar, like we both want the love around, you know what I mean? It's like
yeah I was thinking that I'm trying to do like, you know, I'm thinking about legacy. So like you, Julie, try to let your children make their legacy, and you want them to do their stuff, while I want to have like my own, how to say it, like it's not a legacy, but it's like
the legend, like, of legendary
kingdom.
Yeah, I tried to link it somehow, but it's more like I want to be the or how do I say it in English, like the fundamental piece without
the foundation, maybe.
The foundation, yes. I want to be a foundation. So a legacy, but rather the foundation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you were the.
It's not.
I always think of like a plaque on a chair or something, and a like just I don't know, like the foundation, I guess.
I want. Yeah, it's like every child I will have, let's say, will have this piece of me in their heart. So that's kind of like legacy, let's say, that they will have me with them always. Yeah.
I like
so
that.
It's like legacy, but for the like emotional legacy. Is that making any sense?
Yeah, there's actually one of the books we have, and we love it, is called You Are Home. And yeah, it like you kind of have the child grow and doing different things. It's like, okay, first the child's in the crib, then the child's in the room, then the child's out on the street, now they're riding a bike away, and like the child progressing like further and further from the parent. And that's how the book ends. The mom says like, but every like moment that we had together, I was giving you pieces of me. So when you're out there, you're actually always home.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point, exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So the ultimate point for my kid is that she I hope I will teach her that she will know that whatever will happen, she have a lie in me. Whatever will happen, like really whatever.
Yeah.
So but the other side is that I need to let her fall sometimes, and this will be hard because I know better, right? So she need to do what I say, right? But not always. Sometimes I need to allow her to fall, because learning from those lessons are the best, let's say. You need to fall to to know what life is. Let's say the umbrella have to have hold at some point, and this is what I'm trying to remind myself that, oh my god, yeah, that time will come someday, and I need to let her. This will be like a test for me as well.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
okay, so
so
I align
yeah,
with that so much.
process.
This is like another one of those things where it's like you and I are the same, but it is like this slightly different. It's like we just come to it
Yeah.
from like a slightly different. Because I maybe let my kid fall too much, but like everything else exactly. Like I'm thinking about preparing him for the world, but like for instance, like my husband's mom was over yesterday, and my kid goes on the back of the couch and just goes poof like onto like both of them, and she's just like, and I'm like, I let him do it all the time, and so the bigger and bigger he gets, he's good at falling. Like, like so like, but to me,
He's good at falling. My twin is like that. I have a twin sister, and she does that with my niece and nephew. I feel like it's really effective. Like at first, I was like, "Oh my god," because I'm like terrified. But I don't know. They learn, and they're not super like, I don't know, fragile or whatever. I don't know what the word is.
Exactly. Yeah, no, and it's like I even read that, but totally it like already made sense with how I am. And my dad was a 4, so I was very free range parented too. But like I read like when you let them fall when they're shorter, they have harder to fall. I'm sorry, they have less distance to fall. So it's like let them fall a lot. But I actually had to reel it in. Like at some point I had to like help him more than than I was. You know, like you see other parents who are just like carrying their kids all around everywhere and helping them all up. I was like, nah, get up there yourself. You got it. I'm here. I'm your cheerleader. But yeah, do it or don't do it, and then fall and then come back later.
That's also very TI lead, I think. That's also very TI lead. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Like, you know, I think Dave said his dad TI lead did that to him all the time. Like, yeah, you can build this, and like he knew how to build it, but he wouldn't help him, or I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, it's a very kind of like, yeah, you can do this. I'm not going to help you. You can do it. Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's a great lesson.
I think
you got to do this. We'll do it.
Balance in all things.
I'm here to bounce ideas off of, but you can do it.
Balance in all things. I've learned to definitely sometimes learn when to guide him a little more, definitely, like, but exactly, but it is like people are always like, he's so strong, and I'm like, yeah, because I just let him fall all the time.
Well, you know,
we figured it out.
I'm sure, yeah, and I'm sure you're really friendly about it, and
yeah.
I don't mean to like put you in a box or anything like that. I think I was more of kind of like the jerk parent that was just kind of like, I don't know, I was okay. So kind of looking too at the whole like what did they say? Scared and aggressive, and Shan being like, hey,
congruency and incongruency.
Incongruency.
Yes.
Yeah, if you are looking at people and they're giving you that kind of tired look, you know, then you know maybe you're actually doing that. And I think I definitely was putting too much pressure on child. You know, had very high expectations, and you know, just kind of like, well, you can do it, go ahead and do it, you know. And I don't think I was as friendly about it, and I think I could have definitely used more of that in my parenting style in general. And I think that I could use more of that too, you know, on a daily basis. You know, it kind of like when I yelled at the neighbors the other day. You know, I was about to go to sleep. I had to get up early. It was Father's Day. You know, 11 o'clock at night, they start shooting fireworks in the middle of the street. And the police officer comes. I didn't call the cops, but the police officer comes and talks to them for a couple of minutes. It stops. And then about 10 minutes, I start falling asleep again.
No.
10 minutes later.
Ay.
So, and then I go out and I'm like, I need you to shut up, and I need you to do it now. And and I'm sure there's a bunch of people around here who agree with me. I have to get up early, and I didn't go into all of like the multiple checklist of reasons that I actually had in my mind. It just, because you can't communicate with people that way, generally speaking. But as they stopped, but as I turned around and they're like, thanks, neighbor, you could have been friendlier.
You could have too. Like, you weren't thinking of any of your neighbors with your fireworks. Like, come on, jerks.
Right.
That's obnoxious.
Yeah, sometimes people need to be yelled at.
Yeah. That was
Melanie, what is your love language, by the way?
So yeah, we did the quiz again there, and mine was, oh my god, what was it? It was quality time, and oddly enough, apparently right now it's changed to physical touch, which it never was in the past, but maybe I'm just noticing it more now. I don't know. I've been with the same partner for, I don't know, almost 20 years now at this point, 15 years, who knows? Oh. So I don't know. I guess we have different phases, but apparently that's the thing. So
nice.
So yeah, quality time as usual. That's always my top one. And then physical touch, and then words of affirmation.
Yeah.
I think none of us really. Right?
Yeah.
None. I had acts of service.
I like the service one.
Oh, right.
Second for me, and yeah, I went through relationship therapy with my husband back in August, almost a year ago, and that was when they showed. I thought words of affirmation was high, but it wasn't actually that high. Acts of service, it like helped a lot with me and my husband working on like having a whole new life where we have a house and kids and that kind of thing. But yeah, I actually like acts of service, apparently.
It changes. I'm sure there's been a time when I've noticed that more in my relationship where I appreciate my partner, but usually, like, I feel like I was saying to you guys, like, as a number two, it's like, I can do it myself always. So I don't even really register, like, you know, I mean, I do notice if Chris is like doing the dishes and I just really didn't want to, like, I notice it. And I don't know. Like, all of them, I see all the languages, I see the like merits of, but it doesn't make me like, that's when I was thinking about it a lot as we do with our TI, because I'm like, why does this one have more value? We're NTing it. And it's like the quality time, it's like, oh, my partner's like going out of his way or whatever, or not, to like sit with me here on the couch and watch our movie and we're making fun of each other. Like, it like makes me, it's like the feeling of like, this is special. It's like all of them are good, I feel like, has their merits, but that's like when I'm like, like, I don't know, feels so good. Like the chemicals are like registering or whatever. So yeah, that one, quality time.
Yes. Okay. No.
Yeah, I guess that didn't really have anything mind-blowing
to
say.
None of us, I think the one none of us had very high at all was physical gifts.
Yeah.
But I guess, again, you know, my acts of service I consider to be gifts. And if like a physical object is, you know, within the act of service, like you're fixing something and you bought a bunch of stuff to fix the thing. I really like practical gifts. And so I think they intermix with acts of service, but just like everything else, you know, I mean, if you fix the thing together, that could be kind of quality time too. So I think with our INTP-nis,
I can't not hear it. I just can't. Sorry. Magda, you know what we're talking about, right? I'm sorry. I'm fucking
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I got it.
Sorry, you have to look. That was terrible. That we don't have the SE consume, so maybe we like the practical gifts, or you know, acts of service being interpreted as gifts. So maybe that's where that has that confusion.
Yeah, and maybe the sleep lasts or whatever. Because I'm thinking about it now, I'm going, oh, with quality time, it probably registers so much because if we are number twos, I think my partner is a number two as well. We're like, oh, we've taken time out of our busy schedules to like park next to each other and like just sit here. Otherwise, like we'd be like, I gotta go do my this and that and my this thing and this thing. So like actually stopping to be like, hey buddy, like is like, oh, this is special.
Would mean a lot.
Yeah.
And just like with Jason and I, who I think we're both threes, the fact that we don't have that responsibility, but we're actually kind of like climbing up to take that responsibility for each other and kind of babysitting each other means a lot.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. How about you, Magda?
The easiest part for me is to say, to use words of affirmation, because it doesn't require anything else, just talking. And I use it to amplify something meaningful I saw. It doesn't really depend if it's related to my DI or not. When I see someone that made something huge for that particular person, I want to highlight it for that person. I want to make it special. So I will use those words that will like highlight it. But on the other side, I don't really know how to do quality time. Like, I think that just going and sitting aside is too not enough. So I need to do more. But what to do more? I don't know. So it's like a puzzle that it's making me like it's too hard to solve. Like, I have not enough information. Like, I'm DE blind, right? I don't know how to make the FE, how to make it, how to give that love, because sitting is not enough. It's enough for me sometimes, but I don't know if that person is required that from me. So it's quality time is just a mess for me, very hard. Gifts is something that is alien to me. Like, I can give you like whatever, but I don't want to give not meaningful gifts. But then again, I don't know what to give you. So it's rather like something I want to do actually. And when I give receive gifts, it's also a mess, because I didn't want that gift. The best gifts I'm giving myself by my own, because I do know what I want, and no one else. Yeah, and act of service is something I can do if I am aware what to do, like in the moment, or I can predict what will be useful, because it obviously have to be useful for me. But I noticed that I would like to receive acts of service, and as a mom, it would be a huge relief. So I would like to receive acts of service more frequently. Maybe because I didn't receive it, I'm so
noticing it more.
Noticing it, yeah, exactly, yeah. So yeah, that's my story.
Yeah. No,
Love it. It's interesting how we have different ones, but like, yeah, just the quality time. You're like, this isn't registering for me. That's so cool. Like, it's interesting that it's different for all of us.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I love quality time. Like, yeah, it's very, very, very important for the couples. Like, it's like a glue. It have to be like, it's the most important thing. But for me, it's the most hard to do, because I'm overcomplicating it. It's simple, but so I'm learning to
I think it's different for everybody. Like,
chill way. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
No, I always have something wrong with my eye. It's fine. How we doing on time, buddies?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we're good.
I'm
not crying, I swear. You're crying.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
Julie, how are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
On time?
No, we can get going. I just want to give one more thought here, which I feel a little bit. It's a slight. I know that you don't. So Melanie, I know you don't prioritize acts of service as a 2, but something interesting is you brought up how the love languages can be changing, which I hadn't, like, in time, which is something I hadn't really thought about. So, like, yeah, maybe words of affirmation was more important to me when Parker and I had different lives in California than our lives right now, where we're trying to build something. And I've talked before about how, I believe I talked about it on here, but I think about it a lot. Or maybe I've wanted to maybe bring it up. But something that's really been a big struggle for me and Parker was that socials is really helping, is that, like, he's play, consume, blast, but he's a 3, and it really helps to see he's a 3 because I, for instance, really want an office someday, and right now I'm sitting next to, like, cans of paint, and there's just walls of stuff over there, and, like, the outlet is right here because I'm on the floor, and it's, like, taken a long time, but he wants to do it because he wants it to be perfect, and he's an engineer, so, and he's SETE, so he's, like, double masculine SETE. He is really good with things, right? But it is, like, whenever he starts a project, it is, like, when I can be mean, I'm like, oh, okay, so how can we make it take longer and cost more? Which is mean, but I mean, he does always make it really good. Like, when it's done, it's really good. But so I'm realizing I saw more responsibility in myself, and I think it's just because it has to come out for him. As I have talked to these ladies in our little Facebook chat, I see how much less responsibility I have than especially Melanie, and also then Magda, and so on. And what's interesting is, if acts of service is kind of the responsibility thing, it's like, maybe that's what, like, right? It's like, that's part of why it's my love language right now, because I'm just like, can you
please
do your demon or something? Like, that's where it's coming from, that expectation, which is really interesting to kind of think about, that maybe that's part of why it's popped up, because the acts of service are, but it's like, it relates to my specialized, like, and you were talking about, Sasha, about how, like, gifts, maybe acts of service can be like gifts, so maybe it is also in part that it's like, I want our house to be good so that we can be in working order, so that there can be a flow, so that I can, like, we can each have our spaces, and we can control our environment. It just,
that might be like an INTP version of gift.
You gave me a lot to think about, and it does relate to things I've wanted to talk about, but we can definitely save that for another week. So this was
I know there's so much more to say.
But always.
We keep going. I wonder how long marathon, how long we could just go, because we're like, interesting, I had 5,000 thoughts on that and that.
I know.
I want everyone watching to know how often we're not saying the things that are popping in our heads.
Like, guys, we have a whole ass chat that it's so helpful for our type, I think, to have this, because we're not sleep processing all the time. So I am very grateful for all of you and our ongoing chat to share our thoughts.
Me too. Thank you for the words of affirmation, Melanie. No, me too. And it's super helpful. And I think I'll put a pin in that, and I'll save further thoughts on that for next week, when we also talk about, what's her name? Catherine Hahn?
Catherine Hahn. So, what's her name in the Scarlet Witch thing.
I don't remember.
Mhm.
She's the witchy lady.
That's
Witch on
what
the
that
Ocean.
song? Yeah.
There was a big song like
Okay.
"She's the Witch" or something. That's all I really
I love that
remember.
show. I should know this. But she's cool.
Yeah, she's cool.
She is. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let's.
Should we sleep on it?
Yes. Let's sleep on it. No, I loved that. That's the cutest little like.
We birthed it organically. How we're all mommies here.